Ms. Nakamitsu, welcome to AI to Peace.
Thank you.
The first question I'd like to ask you is, could you tell us about yourself, your work, your mission at UNODA?
So I'm Izumi Nakamitsu, and I currently serve as the UN Undersecretary General and High Representative for Disarmament Affairs. I've done a lot of different things at the UN for many years in many different capacities, including in the UN Development Program. And I was also with peacekeeping operations for many years and refugee work as well. But at the moment, my work is situated in what we call peace and security pillar of the UN. And of course, UN was created for peace and security, the maintenance of peace and security. For international peace and security, we are focused on, of course, the prevention of conflict, restoration of peace, following, unfortunately, if that is the case, outbreak of war, and the promotion of lasting peace in societies emerging from war and conflict. So in this way, we at the UN work across the peace spectrum, if you will. And in my current work in the Office for Disarmament Affairs, we look at disarmament as a critical instrument, tool for achieving international peace and security, and a direct means, if you will, of preventing conflict and the escalation of tensions as well. And so I lead this office, UN's efforts in supporting member states, to reach new agreements in the area of disarmament, non-proliferation, and arms control. And that, of course, includes support for various UN bodies, such as the General Assembly and, of course, the Security Council, on issues from weapons of mass destruction to conventional arms. And for today's topic, the most relevant to this audience is, of course, our growing work on emerging technologies, and in particular, the artificial intelligence. Now, for AI, the increasing, this technology is just everywhere. And we are actually beginning to see this AI technology changing fundamentally all aspects of our lives today. On a daily basis, of course, we are confronted with new AI applications, and I'm sure all of you have used voice assistants and chatbots to image recognition and social media, of course. And so, this technology is just really everywhere, and it's beginning to change everything very, very profoundly. So in the face of these developments, governments are now grappling, if you will, with how to best respond to the light speed developments in order to ensure that the benefits of this artificial intelligence, these technologies, will be maximized, whilst at the same time minimizing to the greatest extent possible the risks, including for international peace and security. So that's the part that I deal with. As UNODA, through, of course, direct engagement with stakeholders on the growing number of multilateral initiatives tackling the peace and security dimensions of artificial intelligence, we have an close view of rapidly evolving discussions. And there are many discussions that are now taking place at the UN on those issues. We have a unique perspective, in particular, insight into ongoing and emerging multilateral discussions of AI governance, how states will craft or develop a framework for effectively managing AI for the benefit of humanity. And these discussions are actively actually taking place, progressing as we speak. So we at UNODA, we are working to support those states in these efforts, in particular as it relates to applications of AI in the military domain. So in a nutshell, that's what we do, or what we try to do. It's a really formidable task, as you can imagine.
Well, we wish you the very best with that incredibly important work that you're doing. When you hear the phrase AI to peace, what's the reality of an outcome like that?
Well, that phrase, AI to peace, speaks to the undeniable, incredible benefits that we can derive from artificial intelligence, right? For the benefit of all of us, the humanity. AI can and really should be used in service of peace. And that's what we really want to achieve. Now, the Secretary General of the UN has made very, very clear in his priority for a shared vision around artificial intelligence, one where this technology serves humanity and contributes to, for example, sustainable development. And AI holds definitely tremendous promise for the future in that sense, as I said, including the achievement of the sustainable goals, development goals. It has been assessed that digital technologies can actually play a role in achieving 70% of all SDG targets. So you can imagine emerging technologies like AI present really incredible opportunities in areas like health, education, and everything around us. So in relation to peace and security, AI-related technologies really could be harnessed for peacekeepers' training, logistics support, landmines detection, mapping, clearance, surveillance, monitoring tasks. But also it could close gaps in opportunity, lift up economies for everyone, and also foster inclusion as well. So we are committed to leading in these efforts to make sure that AI works for everyone and everywhere, and most definitely for peace, rather than the other way around. So that is how we actually see that your slogan and our objectives really are coming together.
In relation to AI, do you think it has the ability to be harnessed for a more peaceful and sustainable world? And you gave some good examples there. But do you think, in relation to how history has unfolded and the present position we find ourselves in, could this be the opportunity that, humanity needs?
Absolutely. As I already mentioned, I think AI holds really untold promise for humanity. This is really a game-changing technology, that will make us all, much better in the world. It has really revolutionized already learning, advanced healthcare also, diagnostics in healthcare, medicine, etc., supported agricultural productivity. These are just, very a few examples of many benefits that are already happening around us, right? But with this promise, of course, comes profound risk, especially if AI is left ungoverned. And thankfully, at the UN, states are already starting to tackle the issue of governance. They have actually prioritized the issue of developing governance frameworks for artificial intelligence. Now, there's something that is called Global Digital Compact, which was adopted last year in September at the United Nations by member states at the summit level. And that Global Digital Compact brings the world together around a shared vision, if you will, for AI, one where this technology serves humanity, not the other way around. So the compact establishes the first universal agreement, if you will, on the governance of AI that brings every country to the table. This includes the creation of an independent international scientific panel on AI, pulling expertise to bridge knowledge gaps and help every nation make the most informed AI policy decisions. Now, all countries have to deal with this artificial intelligence, and they have to craft their own national policies, etc. So this is quite important. The compact also called for periodic governance dialogue on AI governance. As an inclusive space, if you will, for stakeholders to come together under the auspices of the United Nations. And as you know, the UN is the only universal global platform where all countries, all member states can come together. And we are also trying to create this multilateralism, more inclusive platform, what we call a network of capacity building initiatives can be possible. Multi-stakeholder actors can come together and discuss these issues, and also make sure that developing countries, which will require much more of capacities to deal with these issues, they will all be able to benefit. In other words, AI should not be benefiting just a handful of rich countries or technologically advanced countries, but all of us in the international community, the global community. So indeed, the answer is yes. I think AI has the ability to be harnessed for a more peaceful and sustainable world, and we have to absolutely make sure that we make efforts towards that objectives.
Amazing. Thank you so much. If people would like to support UNODA, what's the best way for them to be able to do that?
What a nice question. Thank you. The UN's, of course, global reach and inclusive multilateralism, as I mentioned, are really key. It's essential to ensuring AI is used in the service of peace. And this inclusivity, if you will, requires meaningful participation by everyone, including by civil society, and of course the scientific community and industry people as well. And so the Secretary General has called for a more networked multilateralism, more inclusive multilateralism. And when we speak about networked multilateralism and meaningful participation, we really cannot and should not overlook the voices of young people and underrepresented groups, including oftentimes women. You know, the science and technology STEM field still is really dominated by men, and we know that more women really should be participating meaningfully in that field. So the UN, we think, has a very important role to play in advocating for meaningful participation and inclusivity. So I would really like to invite anyone interested in supporting our work to engage in our work and supporting our objectives, and learn what we are doing and contribute your perspectives. You know, we have a good website and social media channels, and we make sure that especially young people will be really familiar with the work that is taking place at the international level through the UN's efforts. And then we have a dedicated platforms and activities, including those really focused on young people to participate. So if you want to support us, be engaged and participate in the discussions. That is really important for all of us, for the entire humanity.
Amazing. So people can go to un.org and find out about UNODA. And of course, that would be a wonderful thing for them to do. You need that support, don't you? One last question. You're surrounded by knowledge, we can see. It's obviously somebody who loves reading. So I wanted to ask you if there was a film or a book or resource that you would recommend if anyone's interested in AI, what would it be?
Okay, here I'm going to be very, very boring, and recommend you to read the recent General Assembly resolution, which was adopted last year, on AI in the military domain. And you can find it with this reference number A/res/res/79/239. And this is the first General Assembly resolution to address the security dimension of artificial intelligence. As I have been talking, AI holds a tremendous promise for all of us. But at the same time, there are risks, and many of those risks are still unpredictable because technology is continuing to develop. But the risks are related to humanitarian, legal, security, technological, and of course, ethical perspectives. So the UN is really come together and adopted this resolution. And we are, at the request of this resolution, the Secretary General is now preparing a substantive report based on the perspectives presented by states. And then we also invite other organizations like the Red Cross, civil society, scientific community, industry, etc. So this, if you can actually take a look at this resolution, and you could also be a contributor for these international efforts, because this is going to really be a very key step for the global community to come together and then think about how to, in fact, mitigate the risks. So it's a very boring suggestion. I wish I could suggest more of a, science fiction type of a book or the movie. But I think it's also important to take concrete steps by all of us actually coming together and think through how to make sure AI will be for peace and countering potential risks by all of our efforts.
Thank you so much. I think that suggestion is an excellent one. What a very interesting read that will be. So thank you for spending time with us for AI to Peace, and we wish you the very best with your incredibly important work.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.